So a couple of you guys have been asking about this 3000 GT, so we finally have an actual update for you guys. We've got the electronic power steering all situated on this, and so we're going to go ahead and show you guys how we installed it. All right, so this is the universal e-power steering kit. It comes with some wiring goodies here. This is the quote-unquote ECU here, and finally you're given the actual motor assembly itself, which is like a Prius motor or something, and then you're also given the knuckle to it that you need to weld together. So we're gonna try to somehow adapt this to the steering column. See, Jeremiah just got the steering column shaft out, as you can see, so that's what it looks like in a 3000 GT if you're curious, without a steering shaft in it. And so here is the steering shaft in all of its glory, and basically, as you can see, this is where it mounts to. We're going to try to mount the electric motor somewhere around here. This is the tilt mechanism. It's bolted into the dash here, and then this goes into onto the firewall basically. And so I don't know if we're going to be able to retain this or not. We're going to try to, but there's no telling if we can or not. Jeremiah was able to figure out how to get this shaft out, and basically there's a bearing here and the snap ring, and it all comes out as a unit. So there's this collapsible portion here, and we don't think that the steering shaft actually collapses. We think it's actually like for an accident. You know, if you get into a wreck, this is supposed to compress, is what we're assuming, but there's no way to retain that. And the motor essentially has to sit right here. There's nowhere else it can go for it to fit underneath the dash after he did some measuring. So now it's basically how to combine the shaft essentially so it sits like that with the motor in place. And then the shafts are cut now, and this is kind of what we're left with here. And the plan is basically just to get this side mounted over here, and we've got a slip coupler that's going to go here. This piece will hopefully slide into this piece, and then it should lock the front up. We still have to have a solution for the rear. We're not quite there yet, but here's all the pieces to it. So here's the components all apart now. As you can see, we cut the shaft and welded it. This is the same deal here. This is the factory shaft that got cut down and welded to this piece, and then it's all just supposed to slap together. It is completely assembled. We've got to get it back into the car and then check mounting here. We've got this piece here, so we cut the U-joint and slid that back on, and obviously this piece slides back on, and it's going to be good to go. So we'll test fit this and then see how we have to make this bracketry, but it should be simple now. I don't think I'm going to be able to film this while we're putting it all back together, so there's just kind of not a really good, it's really tight in here. So the plan is just to reassemble everything in terms of the shaft, steering shaft. So we're going to reassemble everything just real loosely because we have to build bracketry, but we're going to mount everything back up where it needs to go, and then from there we're going to leave it in place, and that's how we're going to start building the bracketry for it. Just basically we're going to start cutting pieces to get everything all lined up, but the reason why we're bolting everything in car so we can get the links perfect, because once we weld it, you know, obviously it's metal, so we can go back and undo it, but it is a pain in the ass. So okay, so here's the shaft mounted. Obviously the bolts aren't in yet, and the reason is that we've got to clearance a little bit of this dash bar in the back. I know it's really hard to see, and I'll try to get in here for you guys to see it, but it's resting right against that, and it's basically the dash bar. So we're going to trim the back side of it out just a little bit. Yes, it will weaken the structure just a hair, but I don't think we really have any other choice. Unfortunately, that's all we've got. So this is the bottom side of everything here. So here's the actual power steering motor here, and unfortunately this is kind of like the only spot that we can get it. The power steering motor does clear all this other stuff here, or it's pretty damn close to whatever this fuse box module thing is here. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull it back out, and we'll start mounting everything up. So everything is trimmed up now. You can see that the motor is going to sit here. It's a little bit on the low side, I think, but hopefully it doesn't get in the way of the, oh yeah, so we're nowhere remotely close to the clutch pedal or anything there, so I think that's going to be good. So now it's just a matter of taking it all apart and welding making the bracketry to hold the motor to the steering column now, but I think it's ready to rock. That's everything all mounted back up. Like you can see that it's pretty close right there. We had to trim that bracket down, but everything is all reattached. So toss the steering wheel on and then wire it up. So just so you guys know, this is a kit. This is the universal kit from ePowersteering.com. We are a dealer for them, so if you guys are interested in getting a kit, please reach out to us and let us know, and we can definitely get you guys hooked up. So super stoked on how this turned out, and it works out perfect. So get this all actually officially wired up and everything mounted, and then we can finally put the dash back in with the Fuel Tech ECU. All right, so now that we have the power steering stuff set up, we've got to wire it. So these 4 wires here, as you can see, they're different colors, obviously. They get wired up to the controller box thing, which is called the steering ECU, and those go from color to color, so nothing crazy there. Then you've got the actual dial, the knob here, which is very simple power and ground. But the big one here is that we have this extremely large 10 gauge wire, and this 10 gauge wire needs to get wired to battery power and battery ground, and they give us this crimp ends and this connector here. So I've got to wire all that in, and I've got to find some 10 gauge wire. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of wire this up temporarily, just because I want to test to make sure that it is working. Now, one thing I do want to mention is that the tire, I don't know if you can see it, is completely flat. So you can still turn it, but it is a bit of a struggle. So yeah, so it can be turned. So let's go ahead and wire this sucker up and see if we can just key it on and with a jump box, and see if we can get power assist to work. All right, so we got it poorly wired up, and the tire is flat on the car, and this is power steering not active. So I'm gonna turn on our jump box that has electric power steering on. I have the potentiometer all the way up to max already, so it should be on right now, and that's the difference. And like I said, guys, that's with a that's like with 2 flat tires. So I don't know if you guys can see that there, but so poorly wired up as per usual, but everything works like as intended. So I need to actually officially wire everything. I poorly taped this all up just because I'm gonna have to extend all this stuff, but like I said, I just wanted to show you guys the proof of concept that it works.